Welcome to Biggest Geekus. We're your hosts. I'm Randy.
And I'm Joe.
And I'm Lost. This is episode 196 of our show. The date is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. With shake and bacon.
Not much.
Like,
Did you have someone drive by your computer there? That's what it looked like.
I was like, looking around. I don't know.
I've never been in this room before.
What are we doing tonight? Iron Man's here. Look what he's doing. Lurking while playing a Horde Wars session. Dude, we were talking about Shadow and Son Welcome. We're going to have that homeboy on here in a week or two. That'll be cool. Martinson, Larry Elliott, and I think Balthazar is in the house. So
yeah, he was
earlier. To stop by. So, yeah, man. But
that's cool. Even if someone wants just to do a drive-by, that's cool.
That's great. Yeah, man.
Non-violent drive-by.
Play the Horde Wars to the max, brother. I was going to say, did you game this week? But I know you did like a madman, and that's going to be the main part of the episode, next to some ranting and raving.
Okay, I want to put out a bit of a warning here. Mm-hmm. My lights keep dimming. So if I suddenly disappear, there's some kind of power problem.
Oh, no. Then I'll have to do the show myself.
Yeah.
They'll be in for a real treat then.
So.
But, anywho, I went for a bike ride yesterday, about 20-something miles, me and Greg. That was good. What have you been doing with your time off? Anything fun?
Having a broken finger. I can't really do a lot.
No, you can't. So that's unfortunately.
I can't even type for very long.
Right. Oh, really? Does it get super sore?
No, it's just that if you use the hand a lot, then it inhibits the healing of the finger. So you gotta watch what you do.
Yeah, I got a couple of shout outs at some point. The first one today is to Halcyon, our friend Halcyon. He had turned me on to a YouTube channel called Daddy Rolled a One. It's a lot of D&D history related and old school D&D stuff. It's pretty cool.
Daddy Rolled a One.
Yeah, check it out if you get a chance. Martin says I'm old. He said my favorite movie came out 30 years ago. 30. Talking.
What's that?
What's my favorite movie? It would either be Lord of the Rings is my favorite movie. Was that 30 years ago? No. He must talk about something else. Jaws? No, that was
came out long. Yeah, way
older. Princess Bride, maybe. Yeah.
No, it's longer too.
It's not my favorite, but I do like Ace Ventura 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They're most excellent doofus funny movies. I love them.
Larry, yes, I can always use my other hand to roll dice, but there's a lot more to do than rolling dice that I could be doing.
Yeah, we're going to be building a gazebo and then attacking it. We're going to be building a gazebo this weekend. We got a couple of buddies coming over. Joe, the broken-handed, was not invited because I knew he couldn't work. He loves that fact. It's probably going to be 6 or 7 hours, dude. It's not a simple process. So, but it'll be nice out back. You know how we have no cover from the sun? Well, with this, we should. And we're going to have our buddy Greg run some electricity out there so we can have a ceiling fan, too, eventually.
Oh, cool.
It'll be nice. So, excited. But, yeah. Other than that, what else did you do this week, Joe? Anything fun or besides gaming? The game is the discussion today, so we don't want to talk about that yet.
Yeah, so not really. I mean, hanging around the house is cool and all, but it gets boring not being able to do anything. I can't even really do – I can do some really light stuff work-wise in the house, but that's it.
Oh, on the ride yesterday, I promptly lost my driver's license. The wifey poo called, so I yank it out of my little holder, and it must be because it was sticky. and it must have fallen somewhere. I came back, it's gone. So I had to go to the DMV today and had to get a temporary one, which went a lot smoother than I thought it was. But that really
It's silly that they can't just print one out for you.
Yeah. But that's how it is. Oh, you noticed that, Shadow? He said like the comment under my name. Yeah, yeah, that's part of my rants. The first part, we're gonna get a little spicy today. I'm gonna get a little political today, just for a minute, but mainly because I'm just sick of the blue hairs. So anyway, my first one. So I'm gonna jump right into it. Eric Tinkar, who I love, Tinkar Tavern, he's a cool dude. He was one of the first guys that we had him on our show, or were we on his show? How did that go?
When
I think
we were on his show?
We were on his show, yeah.
Yeah, that went well.
And I like Eric. Joe's always said he's been a little middle of the road for him, and I hate to say it, but I think I agree now. I was very frustrated. He had...
But it's nothing personal.
No, it's not Eric's, dude, I think he's cool.
Yeah, he's a fine dude.
Here's the thing. I think he's probably a little different off camera than on. But aren't we all?
Possible.
Aren't we all a little bit? I mean,
tiny bit,
but maybe not. I don't know. So anyway, it was a video he had this past week. It was on. It was related to the making of original Dungeons and Dragons. Hey, what's up, Longshot? 1970 to 1977, released in the hardback, which is a beautiful book, but I can't buy it because the disclaimer is stupid.
Yeah.
Basically talking about how D&D is just, no longer, had all this bad white men making stuff, and everybody didn't like women, even though one of the first people playing the game was a woman, even though the artists on there were young women. I mean, that's fine. Yeah. They hate it.
It's a bunch of lies.
And then Rob Kuntz wrote a response on Twitter. I don't think it was terribly eloquent, but I totally was feeling what he was saying. I'm going to put this up here now. I've got his response. Let me find this. Yeah. I can't make it too big without not being able to read it.
Who is that?
Rob Kuntz. He
okay.
He helped. He was early D&D guy.
Yeah.
I think he lived with Gygax for many years when they was young, but he was basically went down the road of this. It said something like, he called them snakes, and how they were basically trying to wipe out. How they wanted to wipe out all the success and claim it as their own. They needed to remember that they didn't create anything, which is a fact. Even their new versions of the game would not exist without the original. But he was pretty upset, and even implied at the end that, what was it? He said, I'm taking a few days off. He said, you'll get sick of hearing my name soon enough. It's spelled Kuntz, Kuntz. And I just don't have any... I have no sympathy for them. He's right. I'm really sick of them acting like D&D was this incredibly walled garden, gate kept, so nobody that was different than the white people that made it could play. Their feelings got hurt because some versions of D&D, I don't know, had female characters whose strength maximum couldn't meet guys' maximums. Well, I got news for you. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
That's not a maybe. That's not under discussion. I don't want to hear it. No, by the way, I did see a video of a young girl who was 13 and she benched 240 pounds one time, but found out she was super roided up. So on all kinds of drugs, but still. So I'm sure she's doing well.
That doesn't count. There's just asterisk beside that.
Look, there are strong women. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. My point is that's just one example. Or that, they had orcs in there that everybody thought were black people, but that says more about the person that says that than what was actually there. I was just burned me up. And I'm just like, you guys don't even appreciate the legacy of the game. You don't appreciate what D&D has given you. And I'm talking about WOTC. They don't appreciate that.
Right.
And
so they're standing on the shoulders of other people.
Yeah.
And then not creating anything nearly as good.
Mm-hmm.
It's all rehashed material. They
Yep.
can't really create any kind of storylines. They just have to, instead of making new stories or new settings, they take the old settings and girlify it.
Well,
That's about the best word I'm going to say.
for example, I can say this much for third edition. There was a series of modules that was different, starting with the Sunless Citadel and ending with the Bastion of Broken Souls. That was an attempt at a series of adventures that was their own to show how to play. I mean, they didn't lean on, here, we're going to rehash Ravenloft. Here, we're going to rehash, Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. Whereas I think most of 5th edition has done a lot of leaning on that. I don't know 4th. I know they had something called the Shadowfell and the Nintir Vale. I don't know if that's something I'll give them a little credit. So it's mainly the 5th edition and beyond. I mean, when the 6th edition comes out sometime this year, they're talking about Greyhawk, and they're eventually going to lean on Ravenloft again. They're going to do it all in rinse and repeat fashion. Yeah, there's literally there's no excuse for that. And I just, I wish Tenkar had just come out and said it. He kind of namby-pambied around a couple of times about, oh gosh, I know there might be some things with how women were excluded. They were never excluded.
No one was excluded.
No, Tenkar didn't say that. Tenkar said that women, when he was young, they had a different view, that most women didn't want to play it. And I get it. It was a different time. But I don't know. I don't have the patience to even argue with him anymore. I just wish Tenkar had been a little more forceful. That's all it was. I can't say I'm mad at him. I just wish he'd be a little more, not enough.
That's not what he does.
No.
I mean, does he still have, we're living in the world of the pandemic at the beginning of his episodes or at the end?
No, he's given that up finally.
Okay, finally.
I believe. And he did talk a little thing. It didn't offend me, but it kind of made me laugh. He was like, he was just talking, this was a side note. It's not really a rant thing, but he said, nobody that I talked about people being offended by culture. That's right. That somehow, deities and demigods offended all these cultures. And it's like, okay, so everybody in the world is completely cool with bashing Christianity. That's actually completely okay. But heaven forbid you talk about Greek religion, mythology, Roman, get out of here. It's either all fair game or none of it is.
Right.
Okay. Ultra American, we will get to that. I'm going to star his comment. That's on the list. But he mentioned a comment too. He thought, none of my players I knew ever used the Deities and Demigod as a super powerful monster manual. And I'm like, we did.
Yeah.
We totally did.
The gods were scattered out.
Yeah. That's the thing. Why'd you stat them out?
Yeah. It gives they showed clearly that if you got your stats above 20, what they would do for you. So we're all like, we need to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did. Call it dumb, that's fine, but I thought it was kind of funny.
If you want the gods in your game to be aloof, unattainable power level, you don't stat them. You just say they are there. They can do anything, and you don't stat them. As soon as you stat them, you make them a target.
Yeah. But there was also some talk of cultural appropriation. I'm like, who gives a crap? I don't give a crap if I see myself in a game. I don't give a crap if my character wears a Mexican sombrero. Who cares? Get over yourself.
Yeah. Culture exists by borrowing from others and taking it in a different spin and making it their own. No culture has existed too much in a vacuum. The Chinese and Japanese and some other landlocked areas may be for a time. But at this point, if you approach the average Japanese person and complain that Americans are dressing like Japanese people, they wouldn't care. They'd probably look at you like you're a weirdo. No. Because they often, in their dress-up parties or whatever, they dress up like American icons, American themed things like cowboys and other cultural things that are iconic of America. So
there's been small studies done that they actually like that. They consider that what is it? Imitation's the best form of flattery or whatever. Look
Yeah.
at Darth. Darth Theek's in the house. Haven't seen Darth in a while. He's
Hey, Darth.
committed. He's committed though. He says better late than never. Just started the show, watching at 2 times speed. Be caught up in about 10 minutes. That's commitment, folks.
All the rant, double the speed.
Flint. That's a good one. I'm going to post those. My next.
Oh, you started.
I did it by accident. I meant to start.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. And this is now it's connected though. Clownfish TV. Well, I don't know if they were the first to break it, but they talked about these pictures. Let me show
Oh,
some
right.
sweet stuff. So this is some of the art from the new D&D books. I don't know where it's coming from or what it's about, but here we go, people. It's just beautiful. Let's start from the top here. I'm working my way down. So here's the dwarfs bake shop that everybody wants to play. I know whenever I think dwarfs and D&D, I think about bakers.
Yeah, well, it's also a smithy.
Oh yeah, blacksmith bakers.
And of course, and there's two. Okay, I'm going to get a bit nitpicky here.
Sure.
But the ones that are doing the forging are the girls.
Are they?
Yeah, that's it. There's a girl down at the bottom, the right corner
with the hammer.
There's a girl up here at the top with the hammer that's in the fire. That's a girl. That's what it looks like from here. With the
yeah, I think you're right. And they don't have any beards. Ryan David mentioned that today. They're beardless.
Yeah. No, that's who cares about that really. And then there's the one dude. He's holding the thing for the girl with the smaller arms to hit. I mean, whatever. It's okay. In reading some fairly recent literature, they always want to make the blacksmith a girl now for some reason.
Yeah. When,
sure, a girl could do it, but a guy's going to do it better, barring machinery. So in modern times, you can have a machine do a lot of the pressing and slamming down. They have automatic machines doing that.
I'm messing around with this because I want you to see. Did you notice
that? There's a little kitty cat there by his foot.
Okay.
He's got sandals on in the smithy. He's got sandals on.
Very smart. I'm sure that'll feel good when some of those sparks shoot off. But you notice the tattoos on their arms, the two guys there with the cookies and the guy smiling at him from the, I don't know, mithril pile of stuff. They have matching beard tattoos. Huh. Wonder if that can mean. Wonder if they're totally gay. Oh yeah, probably. So we have gay dwarves too, which is cool. I don't care anybody thinks. That's bullcrap. I don't care about it. Oh, thank you. Yes.
There's a top knot, and that's another reason not to like it.
Yeah, that's multiple reasons, but yes, for sure. And then, of course, everybody's talked about this quite a bit. I liked all the, they had the body positive work, and they have the, what was the one I liked? Someone said something Valdez for the one guy with the hat holding his hat. Juan Valdez, and then
Juan Valdez. People were hollering a while back about Juan Valdez being some kind of made up person as a caricature, but he was but apparently it's an actual dude. So pretty dumb. So let's see, role reversal, guys. Yep. And now what the saying is what is it about expectations? What's the phrase? The phrase I can't remember. They're trying to subvert your expectations, but there aren't any expectations anymore because it's all subversion. This is subversion.
Now, Shadow says, did you guys know the Latino orcs were originally in the Hollow World subbing for 2E? No, I don't recall that. It might have been a thing, but it still sounds dumb. Doesn't seem fair if they're going to be Latinos. So
I mean, if we can't have Latino if we can't have Asian culture in our games, how can they have Latino culture in their
Correct. Games? And weren't the orcs already supposed to be black?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Right.
I thought that's what it was supposed to be.
Well, they're trying to give them something apart from being bloodthirsty, bad guys.
Yeah. And that one standing is the shaved head lesbian orc and little blue-haired, probably non-binary orc. And I can't take credit for these comments because there's another guy I listened to that made these. And I thought it was appropriate. But I don't know. I don't pretend to even understand what WOTC is anymore. They're a trash company.
Oh, roll back up.
Oh,
Roll
sorry.
back
Yeah.
up.
Hmm.
We got the Fat Ranger over here.
I see
On the,
well, notice they all have hawks and stuff. Did you notice that? There's 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, the heavyset
oh,
female and the one bending down on that one small jutting out piece, and the little kid below the overhang.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean you're right, but it's just like I don't even. I guess I don't know what they're even trying to do.
If someone that they consider right wing depicted orcs with the Hispanic flair, but
Yep.
without all of the
Yep.
lefty bullcrap that's in this, that you probably would have had a bunch of people hollering foul.
Yeah, and what did Balthazar said? He made a good point a while back. He said, "The art shapes the thoughts of the younger players. Just remember how the art affected us when we started. Major influence. This art will do some work too. This is cute to the point of vomiting. Yeah, where's the adventure? Where's the excitement? Where's the danger? I don't see any of it. You're in a bake shop. You're out on this. I don't know. Are they planning to cross a border somewhere? I'm sorry if it offends people, but good God, is that what they're trying to say?
They're out on the frontier.
Uh-huh. Yeah, maybe on a desert.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, near Mexico. I mean, seriously, I'm just sorry. This is bullcrap. You know, it's just I don't know. Annoys the crap out of me. Then you have this. I guess they're trying to mimic the acolyte. I think these are, if not all, they're real close to being all female elves of a motley coloring. I think Ryan David called the rainbow elves.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Mm-hmm. And I think, this is pretty sweet. Look at that. You got the little green elf with the little pink elf holding hands. So there's your lesbian couple. You got the black leader type girl who's probably same as that black girl in the acolyte. I don't know. It's the worst level of pandering.
Yeah.
Dog
they
crap.
have to sample all the things because the green girl's Asian, has an Asian effect, and there's African and Asian and probably African American here with the one that she's holding hands with, and it's kind of hard to tell with the other ones because they're too far away from the thing. But,
and then Starlaw, welcome. I don't recognize the name. Looks like artwork for very young children.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too.
And I think this art, it's better than the covers of any of the books. I hate the pastel. I think it's pastel colors that you see a lot. Very light. You hardly tell. And like the dragon looks stupid. This is better in terms of like better quality. It's not what I would call good. There is no Caldwell. There is no, Elmore even close to them. And that was actually good art. What does he say? Bruce says hey, welcome Bruce. If there's no tieflings in the party, I want to hang out at that table. Oh, there's tieflings, dude. You can count on that. Oh, they're going to be in the core for sure. And I like tieflings, but I don't particularly like them in the core. I had a couple of other people made some comments earlier. Flint Fireforge said, my next character's backstory will be that I run a taco wagon. Yeah, why not? It'll fit in. That's what they want to do. They don't want to adventure. We've laughed about the barista. I mean, they just want to have parties and talk and bake cookies and do stupid stuff. That's not an adventure. But you know what? I'm not mad at people that want to do that. I just don't know who really is that a large portion of players? I kind of don't think so.
Well, okay. Depends on who you're sampling. If the folks that these guys are pandering to actually do play, then there's probably most of them are like that. For 5e, right? We're not. If you are talking about a percentage of say old school games, and I would say there's a difference from being a gay person and then a member of the rainbow crowd.
Correct.
Right? So I've known several gay people that aren't like that. I've known a few that are just so out that everything about them is that. But many who are just you would never have known unless they told you, and they don't make it a big deal. And these folks just keep making this a big deal when it should just be no deal.
Yeah, well, it just doesn't strike me as I don't know. I guess we're just different generation. Maybe they are into this. It's fine. It's fine in one sense because I'm not buying this crap. But what's Bruce saying?
Why would anybody? Why would anyone want to spend their time with a soft and beautiful woman when they could pretend to be on an epic quest in this smelly dungeon?
Yeah, good point. Why would you want to, dude?
Right.
Look, I know Bruce is choking, but yeah, if it's Randy,
But if I'm going to be pretending,
but if I'm going to be
which is what we're doing.
a first level warrior trying to make his way in the world and I have nothing,
Yeah.
I'm going to get a lot more soft, beautiful women after I have 10,000 gold in my backpack. And I have to keep. And I'm a 7th level fighter, and I'm ruling everything.
But if all we're doing is pretending we're drinking lattes with beautiful soft women, what are we really doing? It's kind of weird.
Trash fest. But then I added one, I snuck one in here on Joe. I'm going to share this.
You snuck?
I'm a snuck. Is that's the proper word, right? Snuck.
Probably.
To have sneaking.
Yeah.
And I think Ultra made a comment on that. Ultra American TTRPG made a comment. It's about the Crit Awards. They came out this week. A friend of mine, his name is Yuri. Well, how is his name pronounced? Yuri Kurlianchik. He's a pretty cool guy. He's a creator and he's a friend of mine on Facebook. He made a comment. These group of people give awards to the Blue Hair Crew. And on their page, here's what is posted. So they have their criteria. And this is, I'm a little shocked. I know people say, oh, you shouldn't be shocked, but I still am because how blatant this is. So they what inclusivity and respect, they go down the no racism, no homophobia, no made up ableism, no sexism. And then right here, individuals who identify as Zionists. Zionists are Jews who want a national state for Israel.
For
Jews. Promote Zionist material or engage in activities that without a doubt support Zionism are not eligible for nomination. Right. So they're basically
they love the Palestinians. That's what it is.
Or they're the N-word, right? And not the lot of M-word. Razzies. I mean, that's what they are, right?
Well, I mean, come on. Say so. They just hate Jews.
Yeah, they just hate Jews.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It used to, so 10 minutes ago, don't you dare say anything about Jews. You have somebody with a big nose in your art, it's it's anti-Jewish propaganda. It's anti-Semitic. If you quote Bible verses that depict accurately what the Jews did back then to Jesus, you are being anti-Semitic.
Right.
Now, 10 minutes later, we got to hate the Jews now because Palestine, something or other. It's stupid.
Yeah, but luckily, it turns out that these cretins got what they deserved. And I don't know if it was because of DM Bloodworth's video, but eventually, I guess Gen Con got word of it. They said they pulled out of Gen Con fearing for their safety.
Whatever.
But I think they were booted because that's blatantly racist right there, which is funny. They're against racism. Yeah, the Jews are racist.
Who got booted from?
Crit. The Crit people.
Crit got booted from, well, that's cool. I thought it was the other way. I thought you were
saying. Actually, well, technically, I don't know if they booted them, but they're coming now because of, I guess, fear.
Well, maybe they couldn't afford to go. It is expensive.
No, I think WOTC, I think Gen Con said this ain't gonna fly.
Yeah, because now it's not specifically a religious thing. It's more of a nationalist thing. Zionism is more nationalist than it is religious because being a Jew is an ethnicity as well as a religion. So I think that it's more, I think someone who's outspokenly anti-Zionist at any kind of thing here can just promote strife.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ultra American says he's heard it was Gen Con booted them. Yeah, that was what I initially heard, but they're saying it's because they were in fear for safety or something. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Look.
The only safety concern anyone really ever has at Gen Con is smelling someone else's body odor. That's about it.
This is the guy I heard it from. Demo said Gen Con did not booth them. The trash took itself out. Oh, they left.
That's fine too.
I'm sure because they were getting ready to get probably a lot of pushback, I would imagine. I would think at Gen Con, I think at Gen Con, probably they would catch some flack, but not, I don't know how much.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to say. Balthazar's putting it about a lot better. Many Zionists are not Orthodox Jews and are more Jews in a political or ethnic sense than religious sense. Lots of blurred lines, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Con crud, that's what I was trying to refer to. That's the only danger at con is con crud. Because you're around a lot of people, and, if you're fairly healthy, it's not a huge deal. Might catch cold.
Oh, they do have it somewhere. There is a new piece of art. Bruce, he said, I'm 9 minutes behind, but I don't see any heroes in wheelchairs. I found a demographic that could be offended by these pieces of art. Yeah, I'm sure.
It's very ableist, except for the one fat lady.
Bruce, at 15 minutes out, said he was late, but he was enjoying it at Randy speed.
Breakneck.
Yeah, when I'm really rolling, I wonder what I sound like at double speed. It's probably crazy.
Well, it's probably not as bad as Ben Shapiro.
Oh my, he's kind of my
or
spirit
Halcyon.
Oh, dude, Halcyon.
If you recorded him and put him on double speed, woof.
We need to get him on the show. People be like, "What? Randy talks slow."
Yeah.
Halcyon's my dude, though.
Yeah, he's cool. He really played up really well in the last session, for sure.
Which is a good segue. Oh, you want to tell people to do the things? We can be crazy and actually tell them to do the things tonight.
Yeah. So
you don't normally forget.
Oh, did you? Let's see. You talked about that. I want to make sure we got all.
I think I got all my comments out. Unless you have more to add, we can talk more about the racist.
Oh, well, it's at the beginning. There's a little bit more of a poke here at the beginning of our next section here.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit of a jibe.
Okay. Oh yeah. So, you mean you're gonna tell me? Yeah.
There we go.
That. Yeah.
If you are watching and you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe, like, share, hit that bell notification, comment after the fact, during the live stream, whatever you can do to help that algorithm do its algorithmic calculations.
Algorithmification.
Yeah. That stuff.
All right. So our main topic tonight is how we savaged our D&D session. So Wednesday this past week, we managed to... Yeah.
When you get a rant on, you're going, I don't think it's chipmunk. It's just...
I think he means when I'm at double speed, I'm like a chipmunk.
Oh, well, sure.
Maybe it's regular speed. I don't know. I might be. I agree with him. I probably am.
So it's an octave or two too deep for chipmunk, but other than that.
Yeah. But we got our gaming on. We played twice this past. Oh, what?
Go ahead. On Wednesday, what did we do?
Wednesday, we celebrated Juneteenth by playing a hardcore right-wing game of Fantasy Companion Savage Worlds.
I like how you wrote it in the thing, though.
What did I say? Colonized.
We
colonized Juneteenth. That's right.
We colonized Juneteenth.
Yeah. We fully did. So
yes.
That was our celebration of the Juneteenth holiday. Basically, screw WOTC and everybody else, and anybody that believes that crap could do whatever you want. I don't care. Right. There is a Juneteenth thing that's legit, but not the way they're celebrating it. So.
Right, but also Juneteenth is pretty a made-up thing.
From what I've heard, it's a Texas thing. I've actually heard
it's different. It's different than the other thing.
No, it's a narrow. Apparently, it was a celebration Black folks had for the people that fought in the Civil War to help free them in Texas. That's what I heard on the Fearless show with Jason Whitlock. That apparently that was a small group of people. This guy that I won't go into much detail. One of the contributors to the show, Delano Squires, his wife is from Texas. He's a black guy. She's black. that apparently was a thing in Texas. I don't know the details. I don't really care. It's been absconded by a bunch of stupid crap. And so anyway, we celebrated it by being colonial scum and playing fantasy in the set with Savage Worlds rules. And then we also, that was about a 3 or 4 hour game Wednesday evening, last minute. And then Friday, we did old gamer craziness. We started about 7. We played till almost 1. It was like 12:30 or 12:45. We got a good 5.5 hours in and wrapped it up. I mean, at the end, I thought that was great when Greg's like, you saw the last fight. I'm pulling out the minis. He's like, I won't make it through this fight. I got to go to bed.
Yeah, it was already midnight, maybe a little after midnight when that happened.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I got to know this, Joe. You might know it. Bruce, you can help me out. What is this Hawk Tua? What is that? Do you know what that is?
I saw a video with those words on there and the title. I have no idea what that is.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, and Flady says something about it too.
Yeah. Anyone
know if the new WOTC edition will have Hawk Tua as a special power?
I don't know what that is.
I might invest if so. I don't know what that is.
Balthazar says, I've got no problem with celebrating the end of the Civil War or the end of slavery, but forcing an obscure holiday to be a poster boy for the left seconds man. Yeah, and federally backed. Agreed. That's the point.
And the one that I heard was that it was the day that the last person was informed that they were free.
Oh, it's a sex thing. Okay. Oh,
It's,
like that. That's what it's for.
Well, Cal is saying it's dirty.
Uh-huh.
So how about we can... Huh? She's a keeper.
Okay. Hawk. I've heard like hawkaloogie. That's something we used to say back in the day.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Okay.
So we'll drop that like a hot potato.
Drop that like a hot potato.
Or hot
so
loogie.
Savage Worlds is a non-D20 game. Shout out to our boy Bo Paints Minis.
Yeah. If you're listening, we're talking about non-D20.
Non-D20, baby.
Even though we put D&D in the title.
Yeah, we did, because that gets people to show up. We started on Wednesday reviewing the rules a little bit about the wild die and combat and stuff, but then we jumped into it. I had a really good time. It was a very long adventure, longer than I had thought. Maybe it was us getting used to things or moving slowly through the rules. I mean, we play Savage Worlds, but it seems like there's big gaps when we come back. We got to remind ourselves a lot of crapola.
And it was Fantasy Companion, which we hadn't really done before.
Correct, not the new one.
Little twisty turny things.
Yeah, hold on just a second. Let me, Joe, talk to him for a second.
I'm supposed to talk to you guys, but because Randy decided to be scared of the camera. Right, so maybe we should get into some details about this Hawk Tua thing. Oh, Randy's back.
This is the Fantasy Companion, the most recent version, Savage World. It's a beautiful, beautiful little book. It's got a lot of, it's not fancy art, but it's got some, I think it's a nice system. I'm leaning heavily toward playing it a lot more. Those couple of sessions definitely got the juices flowing. I'm reading the book thoroughly. It was quite fun. We used pre-gens. They were what's called seasoned in D&D terms. What do you think? 5th level characters, Joe? 7th level characters?
Something like that. They're definitely not first, though. They're really fragile. So
yours was.
Discount. Well, no, we are in general. You get 3 hits and you're out.
Well, right? That's a Savage Worlds rule, but I wouldn't call Larry Elliott's character fragile. Not with a 15 toughness there at the end.
No. Well, yeah, but he really easy to. If you had enough of these kinds of effects, he's very easy to take out of the combat.
Yeah. And that did happen, and there was an effect that his toughness didn't come into play. But I still think you guys were very good. I mean, you're a party of 4 or 5 characters, depending, mostly 5. You killed a couple of trolls. You defeated a young aboleth. What else did you guys fight? Sahuagin.
Yep.
I don't know how you say that. Sahuagin, you guys beat several of those. You beat another troll. Beat some sharks. It was pretty good. And made your way through caves. And Joe cannot, well, I'll talk about it later, but Joe is not going to be able to call me the non-treasure giver anymore.
Well,
I
that
gave
depends.
boatloads of treasure.
Temporarily, potentially.
Joe's favorite type of one-shot treasure. We're
Hey.
hoping to
This is one shot's full of treasure. Are you playing these characters again? Probably not.
So as far as
Don't
things
count.
that came up, did you have any? I have several things listed. I don't know if you had some others, but
Okay, so I have some stuff that I wrote down.
sure. We're going to talk about the things we ran into that gave us some.
The elderly hindrance
Yes.
is really harsh. And if you're supposed to play up your hindrances and get a Benny or two during the session because of it, it's kind of difficult. Unless you're always asking for a sweater or for someone to turn on the air conditioning because it's too hot. Or what I did was say, I'll be the last one there because I can't keep up. Because his movement speed was slower.
I give a Benny out every time. So a Joker is drawn, you reshuffle the deck. So I have usually 2 or 3 decks handy, and I pass a Benny to the nearest player, left or right, and it makes, so they'll shuffle, then give it back. When there's a Joker drawn again, I give it to the next person. What that comes down, I think that question, the elderly thing, is connected to the Benny, what's it called?
Well, I still, even not
Benny.
talking about the bennies, I think it's a harsh it's a harsh hindrance because you get a -1 on your pace, all of your physical stats from when you roll against them, and a -1 is pretty hefty. You get skill points for it.
Yes.
Which to me is okay trade-off, I guess.
So you suffered because you couldn't take much. Yeah, Shadow's bouncing. You couldn't take much damage. You felt you were slower than everybody else too. Your pace was affected. You think it's too hard? Was it considered a major hindrance?
I'm not sure. I think
if it is,
probably is a minor.
There's some tough ones. You can be blind as a major hindrance. So
Yeah.
I would say, I know it was rough, but I mean that's what a major hindrance is. It's rough.
Yeah.
But your character was very effective. He was still very good.
Yeah, I would say
he's a wizard. He's a mage.
Right. So in my one thing I will say before you get going is you can't play Savage Worlds like you play D&D.
No.
And we were pretty much.
We were really fighting everything. I think I talked to Joe. I'm going to mention, you got to be crafty. I mean, I think the Fantasy Companion has things built into it to make characters a little more sturdy. I was looking at some of the edges and things and magic items. You can be made a little sturdier. But I think it's a dangerous proposition to be fight.
Yeah,
it's a hard thing
need
to
is
do.
somebody to get a run of aces on hitting or damage, and you can wipe a character out really fast. My character was this close to death.
Yeah, an ace is when you roll your attack dice and you roll the highest on the die and you roll it again. So it's cumulative. It keeps adding up and up, and there is no maximum number of aces you can get. And so you can get myrtleized pretty quick.
Right.
Because it's really hard to soak 3 wounds, as Joe found out.
Yeah.
I think you soak 2 and you burn through all your bennies.
Mm-hmm.
Benny economy is for both healing wounds and getting re-rolls and taking they call it narrative control, but nobody really does much in our group. I think I don't know if the elderly hindrance is worth it, but I don't know if it's too deadly compared to some of the other hindrances. I'm going to slightly disagree. But I see you suffered for it. It cost you.
Mm-hmm.
Your guy had a hard time. There was a problem.
Your question here, right quick.
Sure.
Darthiac says I might be willing to learn the system if it's for its own game world, because he was talking about how someone introduced it with Savage Rifts. Well, Savage Worlds does not have its own game world.
No,
it is a totally generic system.
It's like GURPS, but done well.
Yeah, but they release books like Fantasy Companion.
Mm-hmm.
That has a mini game world in it. Is that where you got that from?
Well, no. That's just an adventure. The Fantasy Companion is like how you
It's
can do
generic as
fantasy,
well.
D&D style. Even have a specific Pathfinder style one that I have. They have one. They have the sci-fi companion coming. They have a supers companion. Then they have particular settings.
So
Rifts is actually because that they have a Savage Pathfinder game and they
yeah,
have a Savage Rifts game. But if you
yeah,
played Rifts and you really like the Rifts game, I think Savage Rifts would feel very different. Even Sean, what's his name? Robertson over is Robertson? It's on
Roberson,
the one that's
Robertson.
part of Palladium.
Yeah.
He said he does agree that he thinks Savage Rifts is a different experience. What I like about it is I think the game has some fun components with the dice or the cards, the exploding dice, the acing. It's much deadlier than D&D. It's not a hit point attrition or resource management. You have to be crafty. I think the players could have used more thinking that way, but honestly, especially the second night, we got pretty tired after 10 or 11 o'clock. So,
Right.
yeah, thanks, Starlaw. That's correct. They have Deadlands, Hell on Earth, Deadlands Noir. They have a futuristic Deadlands. Oh, gosh, what's that one called? I forget. I got all kinds.
Right. But Savage Worlds itself is system agnostic.
Yeah.
And they just made a generic system that they could attach. They end up in a lot of these setting books having rules modifications or additions or subtractions. So it's not necessarily you do all of the. I mean, it's generally the whole system is pretty much intact, but they do make some slight modifications here and there.
Yeah, Balthazar is saying he's there. Lost Colony. Thank you, Patrick. That's the Deadlands, and there's supposed to be a coming out at some point. There's a what's that called? They're going to do a Deadlands set in medieval times, and that's going to be fun. I think. Balthazar, I want to kind of for those that may not know about Savage Worlds, you roll 2 dice. You have a trait die, and then you have a wild die. If you're a player character, you get a D6. And your targets are usually pretty low. Dark Ages. Thank you, Starlaw. Yeah. Deadlands Dark Ages. Can't wait for that. The late talks about that 2 years ago. Still haven't seen it. Actually have an adventure.
They have a small production company.
And I have an adventure set in that I got with a Kickstarter.
Right.
I wanted to run. Paladins with guns. So it'll be interesting.
So that got kickstarted 2 years ago?
I did a Kickstarter. They wrote an adventure for Deadlands Dark Ages, but now it's kind of on the back burner. Or I don't know where it's at in its development. I just can't wait to see it. It's supposed to be the last of the Deadlands settings. Anyway, you can take up to 3 wounds, and 1 wound is pretty severe. You get a -1 on your roll. It doesn't sound bad, but if you're rolling a D6 and a D8 and your target's a 4 or a 5, you got to get a 4 or a 5 on one of those dice, and you subtract 1 from both of them. And when you get a wound, it's -1 to every roll you make, short of damage. And the game can get ugly because with exploding dice, 1 attack can be bad.
Lights out.
And if you take 30 damage, you compare that to a toughness. Every set of 4 points over your toughness, you take a wound, and then you use your stamina called Vigor to soak it, kind of in a heroic fashion where you don't really get hurt. And when you don't have those require bennies to do that. We use little poker chips, and when those are out, you take damage. You just take it. There's nothing for it.
Take it on the chin.
Yeah, and there's a lot of times and then when you roll that on that death table, it can be pretty harsh, right, Patrick? He's done that before, so. But anyway,
I rolled on the incapacitation table the second session.
You did, and you managed to get away with a
broken arm.
You lost an agility, which knocks you even further down, right? Did it damage your agility die? Yeah. And all your stats, your 5 stats, which are like D&D, smarts, vigor, spirit, strength, and agility, they're all based on dice. You can have a D8 in strength and a D6 in smarts and a D12 in vigor. Yeah, that's right. Patrick got killed on the fright table. That's the one. Anyway, I thought the size thing, I finally figured the size thing out. There is size and there's scale. The trolls you guys fought should not have had a penalty. So like, if you're a creature that has a size of +2, any creature that's smaller than you, you take their size and subtract, and it makes a difference. I thought it was the size modifier that affected the troll's attack roll and gave you a bonus. It's a scale. The scale is different And so a creature of -1 to +3, which the trolls fall in that, they would get no penalty at all and no bonus to hit. So yeah. Larry had a hard time rolling a 4 with a D4 -1. He struggled with that. But long story short, I fixed that. It would have made the Aboleth fight much tougher, and the troll fights. I'm afraid, had I fixed that,
TPK
I might have been a TPK. I
could
mean
have
that
been.
the Aboleth fight was an hour long because it was basically a stalemate. The Aboleth, after he dominated Larry's big fighter, and you guys managed to live through that, I thought that was going to be the worst. The cleric cast Sanctuary and managed to keep himself protected from the fighter. But it was kind of a standoff, right? You guys no one could get an advantage. You couldn't hurt the Aboleth. It couldn't seem to hurt you guys. And then it started to flee, and I did that wrong too. I didn't read the pace right.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I think it could have been a very different experience had I got the size stuff correct.
It would have probably been after we had a TPK there that I would have figured out to use the dispel on it to get rid of its protective protective spells that it had precast.
Yeah.
Because it was really hard to
hit. Yeah, because it had gotten a few rounds. Yeah. The wild die is very helpful, Starlaw. I agree. I love Savage Worlds. I don't dislike it, but I had to learn. I didn't understand the size versus scale, and now that I do, it'll change things a little bit. Because of the way we played, I think with the combat, like throwing the cards out after a while feels a little. I'm not sure if it slows combat down. It's a little draggy.
Okay, I think that evaluating combat speed after these 2 sessions of us not playing, it's too early. We should play for a little while, get the procedures down. It's all going to be slow when we're trying to get back into it.
And I think once that goes, everybody's going to be zipping right through.
Right. Plus, we have to think differently than we do when we play D&D. We just roll up there and start, throwing dice. Can't do that with Savage Worlds without the attendant consequences, which are massive death.
Later, Balthazar. He's got to boogie. We'll see you next week. I also think, besides having to approach it differently, I think also as a DM, I feel like Savage Worlds, when it can, it really encourages you to think about how things would work, quote unquote, in the real world. I mean, a lot of their rules, when you read about them, they're that wouldn't really be the case. This would be this, and whereas a lot of games will say, just ignore realism and go do this. Savage Worlds tries to make it, it's not realistic, but they try to sometimes kind of bring it back a little bit. I mean, guns,
makes it a little more gritty, a little bit.
Yeah, and the fantasy
combat in Savage Worlds is savage. Very deadly. And if you're always seeking fisticuffs, you're going to have an early grave in this game.
It'll be interesting to see because I think different settings have different dials turned up on that. Deadlands for sure. When you play Deadlands and you're shooting guns at people, you don't want to be having 4 and 5 combats in a session.
Not unless it's you getting the drop on people consecutively.
Yeah.
You're just blasting people away from darkness or, ambush. Yeah. But just straight up fights with guns? Nope, nobody wants to do that. Especially when you don't have real armor.
Yeah. What did you have some other things you thought were? I got a few things too, but do you have anything else you wanted to share? I'm giving a couple of mine.
Let's see. Yeah, we talked about the combat slog. I mean, it was us playing like D&D players.
Yep.
I think if we would have had one less player, because you said 5. Well, we never had more than 5.
No.
But let's say if we had to ditch a player because it was going too slow, it would have went faster. It would have been faster into a TPK.
Probably because of what they were playing. Yeah. It wasn't looking good when you just had 4. When Greg showed up at the end, that helped a lot.
And we never really seriously used tactics, right?
No.
So we could have probably tried to do some ganging up.
There's gang up tactics. There's wild attack. There's a variety of things you can do. I really think that more I thought about this. I think part of it's timing. I'm really not nighttime play guy. I'm losing that. I need to play earlier in the day. If that means it's got to be Saturdays and or Sundays, that's what it's got to be because I just can't. When we get past 10 o'clock, I start going downhill fast. Um, our Minders game is this Saturday, and we're going to start at 10 a.m. That's more like it. I'd
Wow.
love to play like 10 to 5 or 6. That would be cool, you know. But
Right.
anyway, that's a different thing. The Benny economy, like I said, I think bennies are what characters use to do cool things and to save their bacon. I got to find a way to give out more. I think I need to reread the rules in the core book and see what they suggest and look at some of the optional setting rules. Another nice thing about Savage Worlds, when you switch settings, Rifts, Deadlands, Necessary Evil, they give you special rules that only work within that. If you're playing a 4-color superheroes game versus a dark and gritty Rifts game, death comes a little faster in Rifts versus what it does in a superheroes
Right.
4-color supers game. Right?
There's more of an expectation of continuity with a supers game rather than a risk game or even a game like what we're playing, unless those people who are playing bring that with them.
Yes.
A lot of people have the expectation that their character should last a long time. I mean, I like that to happen, but I don't expect it to happen because, bad rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we should be fudging rolls just to keep everybody alive for story's sake. But
yeah. I think where I talked about changing players, I would just like to see us. I think we need to play more. That'll affect combat, and I'll start getting a better feel for giving out bennies.
Yeah. So I think that plays into some of the things I was thinking that we could have done things a little differently, had a little bit different perspective on how to play, and known better tactics. So some of it was due to the late thing too, because we're all older guys and a lot of us like to go to bed early.
I think we should absolutely play earlier when we can.
Yeah.
And that probably means Saturdays and Sundays for most people.
Now, something I noticed, I'm not sure if I'm not remembering correctly, but these characters seem to have a lot of hindrances. I thought that maybe I'm just not remembering. I thought we only took 3, a major and 2 minor. A lot of these guys had 4. My character had 4.
4 what?
Hindrances.
Oh no, you get 4 points worth of hindrances. Yes, you do. That's how you start.
Okay, so they were all probably minor ones then. 4 minors.
If you had 4 complete, they were all minor. So then your elderly hindrance might have been pretty severe for a minor one.
Yeah. I think they made it a minor because it wasn't just a straight you lose stuff, because you get the penalties, but you get 5 skill points as well.
Yeah. Darth is agreeing with you here, Joe. He says, I think players should come to a game planning on their PC surviving, but have a backup because you don't know what the dice will do. You can make, once you got used to it, you can make a Savage Worlds character pretty fast.
Oh, yeah. And it's not a big time investment just to make up a few extra.
Yeah, I fear this, Flint. Flint says, earlier is better, but my older gaming group cut our sessions down to 2.5 hours. It doesn't sound good, but I'll be honest with you. I do get more tired, dude. I do. I know Joe's like, and
I'm just saying, what do you get done? You don't get nothing done.
Well, Bruce said the opposite. He's like, Randy, you need to be seated at the table for at least 8 hours to have that immersion and table talk to plow out of the way for a solid 6 hours of game time and chew on coffee beans or do a lipper. What's a lipper? Does he mean an upper, maybe?
Maybe. He probably called it a lipper because if he spelled it out, it would probably tag some algorithm.
Right, some algorithm. So I've said it, so I'm probably tagged. Oh, not the taggery of it all. Yeah. But I think this game though has I think it's got legs, dude. I'm hoping to. I told you, I think the style is going to be I'm going to run periodically, and I wanted to run every week. I don't think that'll fully happen, but it'll be close. And I want to just say first 5 guys I can get, whatever day it happens to be. But I really would love longer sessions. Even though I got tired, I love playing closer to 6. I think I kind of like to do it. I'd like to set aside 8 hours. I would love to start at noon and finish around 8.
That would be awesome, but it's never going to happen.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe on a weekend.
I'm not saying you won't be able to set aside that time. I'm just going to say that there will be a lot of people who won't be able to commit to an 8-hour time investment on any given day.
Oh, he explained. A lipper is when you put some coffee beans in between your gums and your cheek, like if you were doing chaw. It will keep you awake longer. Huh.
Yeah.
Sounds gross. I hate coffee. Love its smell, but hate the taste. Now, as a DM, I had some interest. I had a question on potions. Someone had asked, I think it was Halcyon, is there a missability table? Like, can you take more than one potion? I looked up the rule. It says you can only benefit from one potion. Any consumed after the first are wasted.
Yeah.
That feels a little crappy. Like, I don't like that.
Well, it depends. How much do you pay for a potion? You know?
I'll tell you real quick. Hold on. I think I have the...
Because it might be cheap, but if they're cheap, then that's probably built into their cost.
I have a ribbon on the magic item table, which shows everybody that I care about magic items. I want my player characters to have tons of them.
That's a problem.
That's kind of a lie. Between 100 and 200 gold pieces per potion that they have listed.
That sounds expensive.
Well, yeah. And
considering how much gold they poured out of this adventure, maybe not.
Be fair, many Savage Worlds powers are very good.
Yeah.
Not like sort of good, like in D&D you'll have some really good spells, and you find very few powers that aren't solid.
Right.
And basically the potions are powers. I mean, healing's probably the weakest, but haste is not what it used to be. And I want to take a good look at my Savage Pathfinder stuff to add more spells to the game. Oh, Starlaw confirmed. Elderly is a major hindrance. You can select more than 4. Oh, you can select more than 4, but you don't get any points to spend them. Right. Thank you. So you could have 10 points of hindrances.
Yeah. So this guy had. So this is a pre-gen.
Yeah.
So he had either something written there in that section on the character sheet. I mean, for a pre-gen, I don't know why you would give the characters extra hindrances. That doesn't make any sense.
Those are the cards? I know. Those are I didn't make them.
Pre-printed. Yeah. I don't know why why a designer would give extra hindrances to pre-gens.
Which, by the way, the pre-gens are beautiful. They're well made. As far as like they look nice.
Presentation.
They can. I think they're still well made. You're pretty solid, dude. Your character was good, even though you had elderly. Yeah. But you make a good point. Why would an old person go down into a sea cave where he's got to swim and work through? I mean, come on, dude. That old wizard would be like, I ain't doing that.
I could have really played them. So you guys got to carry me. I can't make it. You see how old I am? I got gray hair everywhere.
That'd have been worth a penny if you could.
And bare feet.
Maybe 2 bennies if you actually got him to do it.
Yeah, the character illustration had to do with bare feet. So, I'm old and have bare feet. You got to carry me around. There's rocks all over the place.
Come on. But what do you think of that? I think I'm going to build a missability table. And I think I'm going to allow you to make a roll where you can, like, 1 potion's nothing. 2 potions, you're going to have a much small chance of something bad happen. But every potion's going to increase the chance on the missability table to make it worse.
It should increase the chance dramatically for each potion.
Correct.
Especially past the first 2.
Yeah, I think
for 2 the second potion, maybe not that great a chance, but after that, 3rd and more should be a pretty big chance.
Might be I'm thinking neighborhood of 20% for the second one, 50% for the third one, and 80% for the fourth one, and the 5th one is guaranteed your belly's going to explode.
Yeah. Boom.
Boom, you're dead.
Don't do that again.
17 wounds, you can't soak any of them. Which is funny because you only take 3. Now, the treasure tables are fun. I followed the rules suggested in the module and haven't read them fully. Haven't read how you make it, but I know they often would say you get a moderate treasure. How do they explain it? Like, for example, you would get a substantial, what they call, there's 4 ranks of treasures. There's meager, substantial, rich, and a trove. So you had all of the first 3 in that adventure. You had a meager, you had a substantial, and a rich. A meager's D10 times 100 gold, and a number of magic items equal to a D6 minus 4, which means you're unlikely to get one. And then the gold increases, and then at the rich you get a D6 minus 2, At a trove, it's D10 times 10,000 gold,
Wow.
and then D6 minus 1 magic items. And they've got a really fun set of tables to roll on. I mean, I really enjoyed them. Looks like about 6-8 pages worth of just listing magical properties and items, and then probably 10-15 pages of magic items. If I were to grab that Pathfinder books I have, I bet there's more stuff in there that we could use. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. And just so, I'm going to read this out loud. Well, go ahead.
Starlaw says, you should have Dr. Smith them. Oh, the pain. The pain. I could have done that. But, I didn't think about Dr. Smith.
Larry Elliott says, I did offer to carry or throw you one time, and you said no thanks.
The or throw part was like,
Here's the treasure that generous Randy gave. Let me read this. First of all, they all got a free water breathing, freedom of movement potion. Don't spoil it, Joe.
It's not the gift you think it is.
30,050 gold pieces in coins, gems, and jewelry. Potion of spider climb. You did miss a ring of riding. A bracelet of survival. A scroll with teleport and detect arcana. A luck stone, which is not nearly as good as it sounds. A pouch of 4 exploding stones. A necklace of bear teeth, which Joe used to great effect. And a spell tome called Tome of the Deep. It included one of spells from novice rank to heroic, including time stop. Chainmail +2, which in this game, that's powerful.
It's big.
Because I don't think they do. I don't see any pluses beyond 2, so it's really powerful. What's called a power stone, which you would have. You need to look at that. That was from the sorcerer, and a recharge potion, which gives you 10 power points. So, you guys hit the mother load, and Larry's characters he was a boss with that chainmail.
Oh yeah.
He was already awesome, but I do think when I run the campaign, I think I'm gonna try to use the tables in the book. I think the gold's too generous personally, because I don't like to give that away, but I'll see how it goes. I mean, you guys, 5 characters, that'd have been $6,000 in gold. Everybody had. That's an awful lot of money.
So, what Randy is saying when he says he doesn't like to give it away, even though he knows, my retort is the characters adventure, so it's not like they do nothing. But that's not what he's talking about.
It's a silver platter gift.
He doesn't want adventurers to have money. That's what he really means.
Joe.
Because they might spend it.
It's a crutch. Let's be honest. Use your spells, dude.
Yeah, use your spells. I don't think I can eat fireballs.
No, I don't know. Did you think? Would you not? Do you think? 30,
I was okay. Just from my perspective, I don't know what the economy. I don't know what things cost. But if potions cost 200 or 300 or more gold pieces, then yeah, I think that's probably a fair amount, because even any one person's split is about $5,000, $6,000.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy several potions, but it'll eat that gold up really fast. I just wonder how much all the other stuff, like the mithril plate or the cloak of protection or the chainmail +2, I wonder how much that stuff costs, or how much accommodations cost and food. I mean, all that matters. You can't really take the number out of context. So I have to know what the other stuff was.
Cal says Randy doesn't give it away. And that's true. I don't.
Right. So he's doing the same head scratch thing at the end that I do.
Darth says $6,000 is just one night of partying in a town. Come on, Chicago. You're getting a lot of backup there.
Because you're full of Chicago.
And that would be really great if I cared. So it'd be really cool. I'm going to try to be generous, but I tend to always fail. Joe always like, you are not giving away nothing. I might. Maybe I'll change. I'll be better this campaign. I promise.
We shall see.
We shall see. So yeah, did you have anything else?
What you'll do is you're going to make the monsters. You're going to make the scenarios, the locations, and everything, and you'll leave the treasure part to the very end. And then you'll be too tired to figure it out. I'm too tired. They don't need it.
I have done that before. I've literally said, oh, I need to put treasure in there. I'm like, who cares? Let's play. Larry Elliott, he's got it. I'm going to use the tables and roll a lot of ones. Oh,
Roll.
it's a it's a treasure trove. D6. Oh, I rolled a 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. No magic items. Sorry.
Yeah, no magic items.
Darth, he says, why do I have the feeling Shikaka has made that promise before? Because he has.
He has. I'm going to try to make sure there's treasure in these adventures. Randy, where's the treasure?
They didn't have nothing. The dragon was he was the poorest dragon in the region.
Yeah. Some other adventuring party just came and looted him,
Yeah.
and he's going to ask for handouts pretty soon.
That's why he fought you guys. He was mad because he got ripped off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a staff of the Magi in there, Joe. I'm really sorry. But overall, how do you? We only played 2 sessions. It's hard to gauge.
Yeah.
I feel like we played the fantasy Savage Worlds once or twice during COVID, and I enjoyed it then too. But for some reason, I just wasn't feeling Savage Worlds. But now I kind of am. I'm kind of really feeling like I want to make this try to work.
Well, there's probably some reasons for that. Many of them are involved not playing as much as you would like in general.
Yes.
But
Because
I think even if we started this as a Savage Worlds thing, but we used the game world we've been kicking around between us
mm-hmm.
for a while now,
Mm-hmm.
even if we wanted to this isn't working, let's do something different system-wise, it wouldn't be that hard.
No, I think our world is currently agnostic in terms of any system you wanted to play. And if we ever do get it done and think about publishing or something, it'll probably be agnostic, system agnostic.
The only thing that might preclude it from more OSR type systems, and that's only stylistically, I think, is that I think the assumptions of our setting might involve, just from the language that we use when we write stuff up, might involve the players being slightly more powerful than the low-level characters.
Well, our heroes will be. Our heroes will not be third-level characters.
Right.
Those will be chumps.
Yeah.
So, because you'll have to, because the world is going to have a lot of dangerous places and powerful things and foes going on. It's not going to be for the faint of heart.
Right.
So, yeah.
But that's still a style choice, because you can run low-level D&D parties in very dangerous settings, and you just accept that you're going to have a lot of attrition, and eventually you're going to have a character or two make it, and you might have a whole party make it at some point that are nearly the same level.
Or you could run adventures in a safer area. Like my part of the world is going to have more cities and towns. There'll be some safe places.
Yeah,
Joe's part may be a little less safe, except in some rare instances. So,
I mean, you might be able to luck out and run into a tavern that has a rat problem in the basement, but that's few and far between. Or the rats are tentacle beast rats, and
or cranium rats from Planescape.
rats. Oh yeah,
control your brain.
Yeah.
But so overall, did you enjoy the Savage Worlds game?
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you think we should consider the idea of keeping seasoned characters when we make our own, or should we? I don't like the idea of being a novice. Do you? Or do you?
Oh, you know me. I've had a lot of low level play. I'm ready for higher level play. I can if we start with novice. I mean, Savage Worlds. I'm being a little rambling.
Yeah.
Savage Worlds advancement is fairly rapid.
Yeah.
So
it might be fun to make a maximum novice character, and after our very first adventure, let everybody pop to seasoned.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I could do novice in Savage Worlds easier than first level in D&D.
Yeah, because you're not. I mean, you don't start out as truly a
punk.
Yeah, not in fantasy or riffs or something. You're pretty solid.
Yeah.
If you're a novice, a beginning character in Savage Worlds is probably closer to a third or fourth level character in D&D, depending. some a little lower, two to four, somewhere in that neighborhood, and they ramp up, but not too much high. Unfortunately, legendary is probably not 19th, 20th level. At least doesn't seem to be. We'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, I could do novice, especially since you get you level up faster in Savage World seemingly, as long as you play consistently. In D&D, it can take quite a bit of time to get from a complete scrub to somebody that has some ability under their belt.
Yeah, I'll think about it, because I said I was just thinking the other day, well, maybe it'd be fun for the characters to. I do have a novice level module that I could run, but I could have you guys right at the max part of novice, so the next time you get an advance, you'll be seasoned.
Sure,
so
sure.
I might do that just so I can play the adventure. I could play it anyway with season, see how it goes. Maybe it's harder than it appears. I could just.
Well, what did they say about this? This module seemed a lot tougher. It seemed like they had a lot of
wild cards,
more wild cards than I was expecting, and it just seemed tougher. And then after you have basically been put through the ringer, barely have any kind of resources left, you got a big boss fight with 3 wild cards, right? For
the final fight, to be fair, running it as a dramatic task was actually a big favor to you guys. One, it was late. 2, I don't know if you guys could have won that fight. You could have won, but if Karnak had gotten a few rounds of casting spells, things would have been tough. And that fighter lady, the captain of the guard, she was a tough fighter, and she had a shield, and she could have blocked arrows trying to shoot the captain and the main guy, the Baron. He was like an expert crossbowman, so he would have been shooting you guys from range for a while, and he's pretty good. Crossbows do like a D10 damage, so they're not weak.
No.
And things could have gone bad, and there were still 3 Sahuagin left. There were 5 common soldiers, and I think they all had chainmail, so they were decently tough. Right. Good toughness. So I think, and you guys were down to like Littleton. I bet you didn't have 7 bennies in the group.
Probably not. I didn't have a single one.
Yeah, so that would have been a hellacious fight. And
no, I did. No, I think we each had 1. Yeah, so 7 is probably right.
Yeah, probably had 7 bennies,
I had 1,
which is a little thin for a climactic fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, they said it was for 4 to 6 player characters of seasoned rank.
Okay.
Suggested to use the ones in the box of seasoned characters. So it's a really hard adventure for season. I bet I could let you guys make season and play. We'll just try. I may try it. Just play that novice adventure. And if thing looks too weak, I might bump it up before, while I'm reading through it and bump it.
And that's the other thing about Savage Worlds. It's not really that hard to bump up an adventure from novice to seasoned.
You can give a creature like 2 edges, and he's like twice or 3 times as good.
Yeah.
Like quickly, especially if you do stuff like the resilient edge where they get extra wounds, that makes them really painful.
Mm-hmm. Gives them more time to get their abilities out to bear. Yeah.
Well, they have like resilient and they have very resilient, so you can have a monster that has 5 wounds. It's really tough.
Good luck.
And there's one monster I was reading takes no wound penalties ever. That's deadly. Anyway, so that's what we're doing.
Yes.
All right. That was it. I think. How about should we talk a little bit about what's happening in Big Geekland? We all know about Big GeekCon 2024, September 20th, 22nd, 2024. We got any new games posted on the site, Jim?
I think last time I got yours and one other person's. Halcyon had a second game he posted. So
Did I just post one?
I think so. You might have posted 2. There are 4. Last I looked, there were 4 events. Let me see if I can get any more recent information. Yeah, there's still just 4 events. 13th Age that you're running, Cyberpunk Red that Halcyon is running, Delta Green that Halcyon is running, and then Pacific Rim that Martinson is running.
Hey, I have a 13th Age game on there?
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. That's Larry Elliott. Oh,
Yes.
I thought I just assumed that was you. You don't have anything.
No. I was going to say, I haven't put mine. Mine is likely going to be Horde Wars and something else.
Okay, so we're going to have 6 up there pretty soon.
Yeah.
Like in the next couple of minutes, right?
It should be. Hopefully by tomorrow. We'll see. Starlaw mentioned about using the adventure deck. Did you use an adventure deck to give each character a special card they can use to help them out? I did not. I've had good and bad success with the adventure decks. I'm really not a huge fan of that. It sways things too much. It adds way too much. The game is already swinging, which I don't mind, but the adventure cards can give you huge advantages, which I'm like,
we were doing that. We did that one. Was it 1 or 2 sessions?
I've done it 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. It did seem to introduce a lot more chaos to the game.
I think in Savage Worlds settings that are particularly deadly, like I think Rippers can be really deadly. I think Deadlands can be really deadly. If you're going to make, honestly, for that adventure, it might not have been a bad idea to have a couple adventure. I mean, for the one you just ran through, because that's a very tough adventure for 5 seasoned characters. It's not easy. It might not have been a bad idea, but I would have been afraid that it would have screwed something up with the basic. Remember the potion thing I mentioned at the beginning? That could totally screw that up, which is meant to be a kind of a gotcha moment. So, you know.
Yeah, well, if we all know that you can only take 1 potion at a time, healing potions are no big deal because they're instantaneous.
Yeah.
But while a potion is in effect, you can't drink another.
I would be inclined to let you take a healing potion anytime. I know that's kind of softy, but sometimes.
Well, you kind of did, because we had that very helpful water breathing potion, and then we were still able to drink our healing potions while that.
Yes. Well, dude, if I hadn't, you'd have been dead.
Yeah.
You'd have been dead a long time ago.
Yep.
But yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's just about it, unless you got something else you want to report.
No, I do not. Big Geek Emporium, we're getting a couple of folks to re-up their products. Hopefully that will happen within the next couple of days.
Okay.
So we can have some more to offer. But we do have Tragedy at Tygon Falls.
Hey, that's mine.
There.
Buy
we
that.
Have Board Wars, and we have Dungeons and Delvers.
Cool.
Those are our biggest
big
sellers.
3 titles, baby.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to support our show, please like, subscribe, and so on. Joe has all the links where you can do that. Did you have anything else you want to add before we boogie out of here?
Do not.
Thanks to everybody. It was good to see everybody here today in the chat talking us up.
A good crowd.
It was fun. You ready, Joe?
I am ready.
Okay. Well, this is Randy.
And this is Joe.
And remember, if you can't be big like us, then be geeks like us.